Man, are we live already? Let's see what's going on around here. If we're not, we're about to be. We might already be. I apologize if we've already gone live. Stay tuned for more from your Lake Fork guide. Man, if we're live, if y'all are here, let me know. Drop me a comment. I think we are. We're up and running. Got Blake Horton first in. Frisco Man, Kevin Jones, Brett Bennett, JD Adnap, got on Fishing Brad Creamer, the PB Dad. The PB Dad, that's a pretty good name. Lake Fork Anglers Ledge, Blake Horton, Seabach, Brad Kramer, Brian Moore. PB Dad's from Brownwood. Wow, I can't even keep up with all you guys because there's so many of you. Man, thank y'all for joining me. It's another lovely Thursday evening out here in God's country. Oh, East Texas, the land of the big bass and chicken fried everything. It's awesome. Lake Fork. It's fishing really tough still. It's hard to catch them right now, but the big ones are starting to show up. As you guys saw on Monday's video or yesterday's video, some of them big ones are starting to show up. There's been some big double-digit class fish caught last week or so. So it's a great time to go out to Lake Fork, even though you don't catch a lot of fish because we still got that whole muddy water, fluctuating water type of thing, and we got more rain coming tomorrow now. So the tough times will continue as far as numbers of bites go, but I think we've turned the corner and we are going to start catching the big fish consistently now because that's what seems to be going on. Pretty much every fish we set the hook on right now is like, almost all of them are really good average size. On our trip yesterday, we didn't catch very many fish at all on our guide trip, but like every one we caught was a good solid fish. So the female bass are eating. It's good. Somebody just asked when the next seminar at Lake Fork is. It is tomorrow night at Lake Fork Marina at 6 p.m. Free seminar. Be there, be square. Why does it have to be snowing this weekend? Somebody asked, why does it got to be snowing this weekend? I don't know, dog, because it does that sometimes in January. But, I mean, I know. It could have done it during the week, but, you know, it did it on the weekend. So, let's go ahead and jump into top 5 baits. Obviously, the one we talked about in the video yesterday, the old black and blue jig, 1/2 ounce, 6 cents Divine Hybrid jig, super weedless. Man, I had 2 guys that weren't really familiar with crawling that jig through a creek bend yesterday, and they worked it through there, and we never lost a single jig. We never hung up and broke off a single jig going through the nastiest cover with guys that really weren't used to doing that technique. So, goes to speak volumes about the 6 cents hybrid jig. And, of course, with everything 6 cents, when you go to their website, 6centsfishing.com, be sure you enter the code Your Lake Fork Guide, and it'll get you a 10% discount on all orders, from a jig to crankbaits to even what may be the best lure of the entire night. This is just a pullover. It's not a hoodie. This is not a hoodie, but this is a pullover. And I tell you what it is. It's a great liner under your jacket. So, like I've got that 6 cents kind of North Face half waterproof type jacket that I love to wear a lot. Well, when it's real cold, I put this on as a liner, and it works phenomenally. It's very comfortable, very lightweight. Here's maybe the coolest part about it, though. Check this out. See that? I don't know what y'all, I hate fishing with gloves. And then when I'm driving down the lake, my hands are freezing because I don't like to put gloves on just to take them off. But I slide these over, and it's amazing how much warmer my whole hand and arm stays when I'm driving the boat with that right there. So, really cool little awesome design from 6 cents like they do on everything. They do a great job. So check these out. Punch out Your Lake Fork Guide code. Get 10% off on those as well. All right, flipping jig was number 1. Black and blue, tried and true. This bait right here might be the most consistent bait right now. Especially the last couple days, this particular color has been the one. A 3/8 ounce chatterbait or 1/2 ounce chatterbait. You can go either way. The grass is scattered and light enough right now with the cold weather we've had that you can kind of use either one you want to. But the deal is the black and blue. The black and blue chatterbait. And I'm going to tell you which chatterbait this is. And this is the one that's been the most consistent for me here lately. By far the most consistent. Normally I throw that old jackhammer. I always throw some type of Z-Man chatterbait. Well, this is even better because this one's made by a guy right there on Lake Fork. This one's made by Joe Spates at Weedless Lures, or the Tackle Factory, over there. It's on Highway 17, right at the Little Mustang Bridge. Joe will be at the seminar tomorrow night if you want to come talk to him. But he's got a bunch of these black and blue chatterbaits, and he makes these for me, and he's got some in the store you can buy. Just go in there, tell him you want that black and blue chatterbait that Billy's throwing, and he'll take care of you. But the black and blue has really been a big deal just right here recently. So, if you're going to Lake Fork this weekend looking for a big old pig up there in that grass flat, go by Joe Spates' store over there at the Little Mustang Bridge, the Tackle Factory. and get a black blue chatterbait, because that's been the best bait, really. That's been the most consistent bait, honestly. Bait number 3, another one from 6 Cents that's doing really good. Dirty water right now. We're going chartreuse blackback movement 80X over the top of that grass, banging it off stumps. It is getting a few bites every once in a while. Not as consistent as a chatterbait, but it does pick up bites. And the good thing about this bait is we're catching good sized fish on it. That's how this bait has always been. We catch good sized fish on it. And I've caught some really monster fish in January and February on this bait in the past. So there's no telling when this bait's going to grab a hold of one of them old big ones. So 6 Cents movement 80X chartreuse blackback. That's bait number 3. Bait number 4 is my old pal Tiger Truce. This is the 6 Cents Quake 70 in Tiger Truce. Little chartreuse on the belly, orange on the back, and what the fish sees is this. Now if you do that real fast, you see how that color flashes at you? With that two-tone and them bright colors and that dirty water, it really shows up. That flash really shows, and that's why this is such a good color when it's cold. They're lethargic. That lipless crankbait's good. Well, this color when it's dirty water is the best because it's got that flash to it, that pop. Tiger Truce, movement 8 or Quake 70, 6 Cents, fishing. Bait number 5 is, I didn't even bring it in. It's just when things are real slow, I'll get in those drains in that grass and the creek channels in that grass and the shallow stuff, and I'll throw a black and blue stick bait, just old 5-inch stick bait, Weedless Texas Rig. My old begging bait's what I call it. Because I just throw it out there, let it sit there, and I beg for a bite. Fish it real slow. That's catching some fish too. Is there a website for the bait maker on Fork with the chatterbait? No, Joe Space does not have a website. He is very old school. He don't even take credit cards. Like, you got to bring cash money, homie. Like, he's real old school. He's actually the guy that invented the flutter. He's a really cool old guy to go in there and visit with and talk to. But if you're out of town, he does take phone orders, and I have his phone number. I'm using my phone live stream. Can't really look at my phone. Yeah. So, oh, by the way, the app's ready for iPhone. It's not ready for iPhone on iTunes, but we have a web app version. If you're looking for the FishLife app, you can get it at www.fishlife.net. It's a web-based app that works on all device types, including iPhone. So that's ready to go if you've been waiting on that. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about that. When is Grapevine in Louisville going to be on FishLife? Grapevine in Louisville is not coming. It's going to be one of our. It's going to come a little later. It's probably coming around the end of February is when we're going to have that one done. The guy that's doing that package for us has some tournaments that he's fishing elsewhere in January and early February. So he wants to make sure he gets on the water before he gives us the information, so he can confirm everything and make sure that we're giving you the best information possible. And I agreed with him wholeheartedly on that decision because that's kind of what we do over there at FishLife. We're going to sell you the best information you can possibly buy. When do I think Ray Hubbard will be available on FishLife? That could be that. I think actually that should be next week. Ray Hubbard should be up next week. And it will be a combo pack of Ray Hubbard and Lake Lavon will be the two on that one. Hello from the little state of South Kakalaki. What's up, South Carolina? Just hopped on. Hey, Jared K. Hey, I can't buy a rod. Oh, listen, oh, man. Every time I try to read something else. Hey, I can't buy a rod and reel combo for everything. What do you recommend for an all-around combo, fast or slower reel? I'm going to go a 6.3 to 1 reel, and I'm going to go something around the 7.2-ish medium heavy. 7.3 maybe, medium heavy. You can do almost every technique with that. Headhunter versus the Rising Sun. They're different. The Headhunter has a different wiggle. Now, if you want to compare the Convict to the Rising Sun, that's a little more close comparison. I'll be straight up with you guys. I will not. I refuse to fish 316 lures, and they're really good baits. I refuse to fish them because that guy, he's a bad person. I know he's got the Jesus story and all that. It's fake. He ain't about it. He don't live it. He's a bad person. He's assaulted people at Lake Fork. He's threatened me before I ever even met him. Like, he's just a very bad person. So I do not fish his baits. You get the truth here. I don't like bad-mouthing anybody, but, man, that guy, he's a bad dude. Like, he had to build his own store because nobody around the lake would do business with him because he's such a crazy person. And I know there's like huge Mickey Ellis fans that think he's like the godsend. You don't know the real person. He's a bad guy. Have y'all ever heard me say anybody's a bad guy? Y'all know how many enemies I have around Lake Fork. Y'all know how many people hate me up there. I've never once said anybody's a bad person. That ought to tell you something. Somebody brings Mickey Ellis up and I say it. He's the only one I've ever said that about. And there's a lot that I have issues with and they've done foul things to me. But I've had people threaten me. I've never called anybody out like that. So that'll tell you how true it is. They are good baits. He makes good baits. I'm not going to lie. I just refuse to fish him on principle. He does make very good baits, though. But them old Smash Tech baits ain't bad, and he is an outstanding guy. He's one of them old school stand-up, they broke the mold when they made him kind of guy. So I'm proud to say that I fish Smash Tech Convict over the Rising Sun all day. Because basically those two baits, between the Smash Tech Convict and the Rising Sun, like you're splitting the hairs. They're really close. What is the best bait for bass fishing in the heavy snow? Right there. Black and blue jig. Hands down. Sometimes it's an A-rig, though. It all depends on the lake, and there's a whole lot of factors that go into it other than just the snow. Timmy Rhodes said he's got one more meeting and he's heading east. Buddy, holler at me when you get here, bud. We'll get out there and do something. Is cranking effective in water temps below 40 degrees? Yeah. I mean, lipless crankbaits, if you have grass below 40 degrees, are fine. Flat-sided square bills that dive 6-7 feet can definitely catch them. Shad Rat is one of the all-time cold water, no matter how cold it gets, best baits there is, period. I don't know, Shad Rat's kind of a jerk bait / crankbait, but Wigglewort catches them and all. Yeah, so yes, cranking is one of the most effective ways. It's kind of like what we talked about, I think it was last week, but you know, when the weather gets extreme, you need to get extreme. Now, you can do that two ways. You can go extremely finesse and extremely slow, fish a small profile jig, finesse jig, and go real slow, or you know, drop shot, something like that. Or you can go extremely reactive, which is where the crankbait and the jerkbait and the stuff like that comes in. So crankbait is definitely one of the most effective ways to catch fish when it's super cold, water temp wise. How's the grass bite been? Man, all of the bites are kind of this, like, the two bites I'm focusing on are the creek channel bite and the grass bite. And they're about the same. They're very, very slow, but when you get bit, it's quality. That's how it's been for me. We're not catching a lot of fish every day at all. Like 5-6 fish. That's it. But we're getting some good ones, so it makes it worth the trip. Do have dates open for January. I think I've got like 4 left in February. But I do have some dates open right here the last week of January. So like, if you want to go out next week or the week, I got you. Just holler at me. We'll take care of you. YourLakeForkGuide.com. Find the phone number, the email, and everything else you need to know. Black and blue mainly because of the stained water common in winter. Yes, that's part of it. The reason we fish black and blue in the winter is because the dirty water tends to be a thing in winter. The other reason we fish black and blue in the winter is crawfish get blue highlights and blue claws and stuff like that. They have a little blue tint that shows up in the wintertime. Well, so I've got, now let me rephrase it. Normally, like if the water clarity was like clean, I would fish this black and blue jig with a black with blue flake trailer. We have dirty water because we have a ton of rain. That's why I have the old electric blue or sapphire blue, whatever you want to call that color trailer. Normally, this would be a black with blue flake trailer. We got dirty water, though. I like that electric blue when the water's real dirty. Am I available in March/May? I'm available in May. March is gone. And so I think I have one day in April, and that's it. And then May, we have some openings in May. What rod do I throw with the A-rigs on? I'm throwing the A-rigs on the 8-foot heavy 6-cents Lux rod. That's the one I'm throwing it on. What's the warmest water I found? Like last week, like it changes all the time. We had a little warming trend like 10 days ago. We got, I don't know, it got up to like 57, 58 in some places. But today, the warmest water I saw was about 52, 53. It's been running in the upper 40s, so it warmed up a few degrees, but not enough. Like there wasn't, like for a warming trend like bite to take effect, you need to have a fairly significant difference between the backs of the pocket and the main lake. And there was like 1 or 2 degree difference between the main lake and the backs of the pockets. It wasn't enough to make any difference today. My fishing reaction are slow more in the grass. I'm fishing reaction more. I'm getting more bites on reaction. Every once in a while, though, I do resort to that Cinco. I'm mostly fishing the moving baits in the grass, though. 10-aught or 12-aught on the convicts. 10-aught. 10-aught's plenty. It's it's perfect. 10-aught's the perfect size hook for the Smash Tech convict. 6 Cents is one of my favorite cold water crankbaits. Love them and catching a lot of bass. Well, I don't know. They've got about 35 different crankbaits, so I'm not really sure which model you're talking about. But yeah, I agree. I'm in. What line do you like throwing on the weedless convict? On the weedless convict, typically I throw it, like at fork, I throw it on 20-pound fluorocarbon. Now, if I've got lily pad stems, heavy brush, really heavy grass that I'm fishing it around, a few years ago we were fishing it like crazy on Monticello and there was lily pad stems everywhere. Well, then I throw it on 65-pound braid. At fork, though, 90% of the time I'm throwing it on 20-pound fluorocarbon. Do I ice fish? Bro, I live in Texas. No ice fishing here. How do you keep the skirts from sticking to the trailers? It usually isn't a problem. Like, if it's not hot. Like, when it gets real hot, that's when you usually have that problem. But when it's, like, it'll stick to it when it's wet, but when you put it in the water, the skirt will turn loose of it. Like, I've never really had an issue with that. R.I.P. Monty. Hey, listen, you can R.I.P. Monty all you want to. That thing it's still real good. Like, it just ain't real good. Like, they're not spawning right now. So it's different, but it's still a very good lake. Somebody said Texas ice fishing is when the deck of the boat freezes. That's about right. When you go slipping and sliding across that deck, that's the closest to ice fishing we get. What is the deepest water you'll fish the Movement 80X over? Well, that depends on the grass. I had fished it on Lake Welch in like 12 foot of water, but the grass was growing up 10 foot, so there's only a 2-foot gap. So I will fish it over deeper water. I need to have some type of cover, grass or something that has a top. Otherwise, if you're just talking about like just clean water with stumps, man, I'm not going to fish it. I mean, maybe 4 feet at the most. About the deepest water I'd be throwing it in. 3 feet probably. More like it. That's about right. Do I prefer a compact jig trailer like a D-Bomb or a big trailer like a Rage Crawl for a jig trailer? Well, so this is a Smash Crawl by Smash Tech that I'm using. That's the jig trailer I'm using the most. That one claw's kind of twisted around, but you get the point there. The big deal is I want my claws to start where my skirt ends. And I trim my skirt just below my hook bend there, as you guys can see. And then I want my claws to kind of start right where my skirt ends. So whatever kind of trailer you're using, I wouldn't make the decision on trailer type based on the size. I want to figure out the action I want. So if I want a D-Bomb, that's a straight-legged trailer that has no kick to it. I probably am only going to fish that when it's really, really cold. And I like to use a chunk trailer when I'm doing that, but D-Bomb will work great, or a beaver. But when I have a flapping type of crawl, I just want to make sure that those claws start right there where that skirt ends. And then I'll trim the bait accordingly to make it do that. Like this Smash Crawl, I'll trim probably a 1/2 inch or so off the head of it to get the claws in the right position. Oh, my buddy Zach Watts on ZW. He said, what is the best scent for those jigs? Crown, a.k.a. brown water, which is what we call it at the camp out there. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, Crown. Bass have got to like Crown. As much as I love it, yeah, they got to like it. Crown Black, though. They don't like that regular Crown. Just Crown Black. Does rising muddy water cause fish to go shallow regardless of water temps? Yeah, it does. It makes them go shallow, and it makes them get tight to cover, and it also makes them very lethargic because of how cold that shallow water is. Like, it's that's why cold, muddy water is the toughest conditions you can have. We've had a bunch of it this year. Best football jig trailer, summer and winter. Ooh, winter, that's my trailer. In the summer, I actually use kind of a homemade bait, but on the market that you can buy a Rage Crawl. And my jigs in the summer, I leave them a lot bigger profile. In the summertime, I'll leave the skirt full. I'll leave the full Rage Crawl on there. It's a much bigger profile than this little short compact job that I got here. So that's a little small jig right there. It's just a real short skirt, real short trailer. The skirt will be down here and the trailer will be down here in the summertime. If I were to get my own line of rods from 6 cents like Milliken Fit, I didn't know that Milliken got his own line of rods. Good for Milliken. What would I want to come out? Like, what rod would I want to come out? Like, what model? I mean, are you talking about a line of rods or like one model of a rod? God, I don't know. They could just put my name on the 7.5 heavy with the moderate fast tip, and I'll be fine with that because that's a bad dude that I can do just about anything with. How deep of creek bends are we looking right now? Deep, like 26, 27 feet in the bottom is where I'm catching fish. Will I fish more shallow water than deeper water tomorrow? The water I'm fishing tomorrow is going to be pretty darn shallow because I'm staying at home with a sick kid so my wife can go to work because I don't have a guide trip tomorrow. So probably going to be pretty shallow water we're fishing in tomorrow, like dry. But if I was going tomorrow, man, I'm honestly splitting my time 50-50 in shallow water and deep water. I'm fishing creek bends in about 25 feet in the bottom of the creeks. Maybe, it's like 15 to 18 on top, 25 in the bottom. And then I'm fishing the grass flats in as deeper water as I can find healthy grass in with a drain next to it. So I'll split my time 50-50 just to answer that. February 16th, Hallbrook Tournament. I think that I'm booked. Let me take a little gander here for you there, Timmy Rhodes. Because if I'm not booked, the answer is, oh, heck, yeah, I'm booked, bud. The answer would have been yes, Tim. I would have loved to fish that tournament with you. It would have been like the old days. My pods. But I am booked. Sorry. On these, what? I don't even know what you're asking. Brian Moore, I think you may have been drinking too much Crown. Hey, Zach said he's going to fish with you, Tim. Listen, you need to take Zach because I took Zach fishing in the winter one time and we won a tournament when I took him. The only time I took Zach Watts to Lake Hallbrook in the wintertime, we won a tournament. And we won a tournament with 2 fish. We caught 2 fish all day. We won. I mean, them 2 fish weighed like 14 pounds, but, it's kind of my thing. It's kind of my style. Am I going to fish the Skeeter Owners Tournament? I'm not allowed to fish the Skeeter Owners Tournament. I used to fish it. I'm not allowed to. Guides are not allowed to fish the Skeeter Owners Tournament. But I will probably be around, so say hey if you see me. How will this weekend's weather affect my fishing? It won't affect anything. Like, it may slow the bite down even a little more. Like, it may make it tough or even tougher than it's been. But it's not going to change what I'm doing. I'm already fishing cold water lethargic fish. Like, it's already tough and cold. So this is just going to make it more that direction. If anything, it may group more of them up in that creek channel. It may help the bite. In all seriousness, it might. Lake Fork buzzbaits during the spawn or no? Yeah, but I like a frog better because I can slow the frog down more. And the fish in the spawn, they get real stationary, real territorial. They stay in one spot. They're not as willing to chase after something, and a frog can stay kind of over the top of them a little bit longer. So I like a frog better than the spawn. But in the pre-spawn, when they get real shallow on a warming trend, buzzbait is my favorite bait on earth. When can you start throwing a spook and a popper? As soon as the shad start spawning, bud. Probably April. Maybe late March. Well, I think I've kind of caught up on questions. I know I didn't get to all of them, but I got to a bunch of them. There was a bunch. We'll kind of start winding down a little bit tonight. Fish Life, the app. Go check it out. We got Ray Roberts on there right now. We got Lake Fork on there right now. We got East Texas Power Plant Lakes. We should have Texoma, Lake Ray Hubbard / Lake Lavon, and Lake Conroe within the next week or two going live. Maybe a Falcon package too. We'll see. for all my North Mexican folks hanging out down there in North Mexico at El Falcon. Pines, man, I haven't. Pines for the app. Tim, my old tournament partner, we gonna do pines on the app, bud? Maybe you ought to skip that Lake Auburn tournament and go fish pines. Is there grass and birch? Yeah, there's grass and birch. The thing about the grass on Fork right now is it's gotten real hard to locate because a lot of it has died down because of winter, and a lot of it got flat washed out with all the flooding we've had. And so the grass is in like these isolated patches that just hung on when the lake was flooding. So even an area that, a month ago had grass everywhere, 2 months ago had grass everywhere, there might only be like 3 patches of it that are like good sized patches that are healthy and holding fish. That's the problem with the grass, whether you're in Birch or the northeast part of the lake or anywhere that's had grass all year. These floods really did a number on it, so it's just not as widespread. It's not like you can go there and there's a whole area that's good. It's not that way anymore. Do I ever fish Tawakoni? I've never fished Tawakoni. I don't know anything about it. I don't have an opinion on it. Sorry, bud. When to fish a spook and popper in ponds? I don't know. When you start seeing them blow up on the surface, it's a pond. It's pretty simple in a pond. When you see them blow up on top, just throw a topwater. You'll catch them. When you don't, throw something else. You'll catch them. It's a pond. I mean, that's how it usually works when I go to ponds. I don't know about y'all. Stay off Tawakoni, no fish. Noted. See, my problem is I have to drive past Lake Fork to get to Tawakoni, and every lake that I have to drive past Fork to go to, I usually don't ever get there. My truck is like, nope, you got to turn in there at Fork. So, kind of the way it goes. Hey, go download the Fish Life app. We appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. Go check out 6 Inch Fishing. Get one of these awesome liners with the old glove hand feature. Or anything else you want from 6 Inch Fishing, be it a rod, be it some of them great jigs we've been catching them big ones on out there at Lake Fork. When you do, be sure you punch in that code, your Lake Fork guide, get 10% discount on all orders. Check out my buddies over at Smash Tech Baits. I think that'll do it. Paid all the bills. Appreciate you guys joining us. Great crowd tonight. Big crowd tonight in the live stream. A lot of good feedback, a lot of good questions. Appreciate all you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Right here on your Lake Fork Guide.